my name is Eileen Zanarios from Flex Counseling and Wellness. These video yoga courses are intended for you to enjoy yoga in the comfort of your own home, at your own pace. As always, with any physical activity, make sure that your doctor approves you for physical activity, such as yoga, stretching, and that sort of thing. If you're not sure, ask. These classes are designed with a trauma-informed approach, which means that I will provide several suggestions for you, and it will be up to you to decide what works for you and your body. So beginning on our knees in our child's pose, we'll sit back towards our heels, inviting the forehead down, either resting on a block or resting on the ground. Arms can stretch forward, fingertips spread wide, palms on the mat. As another option, you can reach back towards your heels and kind of tuck in. And just invite your body to settle on the mat. Feeling the gravity, feeling the ground beneath your body. And as you shift away from whatever you were doing before, now you're shifting into your yoga mindset, the present moment, anchoring the mind on the breath, allowing the thoughts to float on by. If you're feeling any tension in your body, invite it to soften and melt away. Ready, begin to make your way up to an all-fours posture and find a comfortable seated position. So you may cross your legs if it feels right. If that does not feel right, you can find a different way to sit. Sometimes people like to sit on a foam block or grab a blanket. These nice yoga blankets can be great to just place underneath between your seat and your mat to allow for a little bit more comfort. We're going to do some neck and gentle shoulder stretches to begin our practice. So to start, find a long spine. Invite the heart to open, shoulder blades to kiss together on the back ever so gently. Chin is tucked in a little bit. Just find some breaths with this posture. And then we'll begin making some circles with our shoulders. Your circles can be as large or as small as feels good in your body today. And then you'll switch directions with your circles. Notice if you're feeling tension and just invite that tension to leave the body. And then when you're ready, just find a comfortable centered posture. We're going to slowly take our right ear towards our right shoulder, just very gentle. Inviting the left side of the neck to open, allowing the body to open. Notice if you're clenching your jaw. It's a common place for us to hold on to tension and stress. Just invite that jaw to soften. And then slowly bring the head back through center. And then take the left ear towards the left shoulder, allowing the right side of the neck to open. So in our yoga practice, we want our bodies to just open naturally and gently. So no forcing, just allow the neck to open as much as it works. And that might feel like just a little bit of movement for you, or it might feel like a lot. There's no right or wrong. Slowly bring the head back through center. And next, this next stretch is helpful if you have a strap, which I do, or if you have a hand towel. Something you could even use, I don't know, a shirt or a hoodie or something if you want to. All we're trying to do is get some length between our hands, so something to grab onto. So we're going to take the strap into our right hand, stretch our right arm up towards the sky, and then bend the elbow, and then left hand reaches back and grabs for the stretching item. So again, you could see it could be a towel, could be a hoodie, could be a strap, whatever you have. And we'll just rest here. Allowing the back of the arm to open and the heart to open. If anyone sits a lot, their job, at a desk or in a car, we kind of hunch forward, and that can really bring a lot of tension into our neck and our upper back area. So this stretch kind of counteracts that. So it might feel a little uncomfortable for you at first because your shoulders and your back might be used to rounding the other way if you're holding onto the steering wheel or typing in a keyboard. This is one of those stretches I recommend doing often, depending on what your job is. You might even want to do this stretch like every day. It's easy, it doesn't take too long. So we're going to slowly allow our bind to unwind and start to make some circles with the shoulders again. You might feel that blood flowing back in where it was constricted. Switch hands. Take the left arm up to the sky, bend the elbow, and reach back. And this one too, you may notice that your left arm feels a lot different than your right arm. So throughout our day, we tend to do more things with our dominant hand. And so our tightness may not be evenly distributed in our body. I'm just inviting the mind to the breath, feeling that tension leave the body. If you notice thoughts come up, just allow them to come on up and then float on by. No forcing, just allowing. Slowly release, and then we'll find some circles. And then we'll unwrap our legs, and we'll find some windshield washers with our legs. Our knees go side to side like a set of windshield washers. Starting to open the hips a little bit. And then from here, we're going to make our way to our downward facing dog. So finding an all fours posture. Don't worry, that wasn't me, that was just the block. Hands come forward, toes tuck under, and we find our inverted V, stretching into our downward facing dog. All right, beginning from our downward facing dog. Feet come together at the back of the mat. Right foot lifts, bend and open. Deep breath in. Slowly take the right foot forward. We're going to drop our back knee and come into a crane pose. Opening the psoas muscle. Keeping that core engaged. Press down and forward with your front leg. And you'll feel the opening. Again, we can cactus or keep our arms straight, or even head into hands, hands into head. Deep breath in. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. Tuck the back toes under. Come into a high lunge and take right fingertips to the sky. Twist. Right fingertips back down to the ground, and we're going to walk to the left. We're going to come into a wide-legged straddle, allowing our head to hang heavy. Can reach for each ankle with our hands. You can place your arms on the ground. Whatever feels nice and opening for you. And then from here, we're going to walk back towards a high lunge. And we're going to hop our back foot up maybe about 8 to 10 inches. Straighten our right leg out and come into a pyramid stretch. Now, I like to use a block with my pyramid stretch. It helps my lower back feel a little bit healthier. You can take your thumb into your right hip crease and press back. And that really engages the stretch into the right hamstring. Tucking the chin in, you'll stretch the crown of the head forward and keep pulling the tailbone back. So we're lengthening our spine as we stretch. And then from here, we'll start to bend our right knee and take a block about 6 inches away from the pinky toe of your right foot. If you don't have a block, that's okay. You can place your fingertips on the ground. We're going to open up into a balancing half moon. And for this one, you can keep your gaze down. You can turn it up towards the ceiling. This is a balancing pose, but it's also strengthening. It's a nice kind of one-size-fits-all pose where you're doing just about everything in your yoga practice when you're doing a balancing half moon. A few more breaths. And then we'll slowly take our left foot down next to our right. Come into a halfway lift to neutralize the spine. And fold forward. And we'll hold our deep stretch pose. So take your feet a little wider than hips width, almost mat's width apart. And you can just hang on, grab on elbow to elbow and let your head hang heavy. Again, just opening up those hamstrings. This is kind of our stretching standing series. So we've got a lot of stretching going on even as we continue some of these different standing poses. This is a really nice release for the upper part of the spine and the thoracic spine, which is like the middle. And then release the arms. Walk the feet a little closer together. Press into that halfway lift. And exhale, hands to the mat. Step back. High plank to low plank or belly up dog or cobra. Back to our downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Long breath out. Feet come together at the back of the mat. Left toes lift, bend, open the hip. Take an inhale here. Slowly exhale, left foot in between the hands. Drop the right knee. We'll come into our crane pose. Opening that other psoas muscle. This time it's the right psoas muscle. Finding the breath. Again, you can press into your left leg if you wanna, and kind of at the same time you're pulling your belly button in towards your spine. That's really gonna target and engage that psoas as you're stretching, which really pumps up the stretch. Or if you'd like, you can just kind of take the opportunity to stretch the arms and the shoulders and the upper back a little bit. One more breath in. Hands come down. Back. Toes tuck under, and we find our twist. High lunge twist. And then we're going to slowly start to walk towards the right, coming into our wide leg straddle. And when you straddle here, you're going to want to have your heels a little further out, your toes a little farther in. And I'm just grabbing onto ankles. There's any number of things you can do here. You can place both hands together on your back. Reverse namaskar. You can take a shoulder rinse, grabbing onto a strap or your hands and kind of taking your arms over your head. I'm a little tight today, but there we go. Shoulder rinse. Or you can just hold on to the ankles and allow everything to just open and melt. And then when you're ready, you'll start to walk back towards the top of the mat, hopping the back foot in about 8 to 10 inches. If you have a block and want to use it for your pyramid, go ahead. This is a little bit of a gentler stretch. Keep stretching the crown of the head forward as the hip stretches back. And then we'll slowly start to make our way to our balancing half moon. So taking the block to the pinky toe side of the left foot. If you don't have a block, you'll place your hand on the mat and you'll open up. This is an open hip posture. It's also called an external rotation of the hip. Set the gaze, find the breath. And one more deep breath in. And as you exhale, take the right foot down next to the left. Come into a halfway lift to clear out the spine. Hands to the mat. We're going to walk our feet out wide. And this is when you can take a block if you want. Place it under your bottom. We're going to come into a goddess squat, which is going to open up the inner thighs. So you can come into a high squat if you'd like. I'm in a low squat. I'm pressing my knees into my upper arms and my upper arms into my knees. So I'm engaging as I open the inner thighs. Again, it's an active pose, but it's also a stretching pose, so it's got a little bit of both going on. And then we'll take our hands down, we'll kind of release up. Coming into a forward fold, kind of shake everything out. Coming back to our high plank, low plank or belly, up dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. And then we'll come down into a child's pose for a few breaths to rest. So we'll begin our series in our downward facing dog. Deep breath in, long breath out, deep breath in, long breath out. Breathe in and lift the heels high. Exhale, bend the knees. Walk or jump forward in between the hands. Stretch into a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Sit down and come on up. Chair pose or Utkatasana. And we'll introduce a twist into our chair pose. So I'm going to show you two types of twists. Keeping in mind, if you have challenges with your back or even your neck, you may not want to participate in twists, or you might want to take a very, very gentle twist. So to start, I'll show you the open arm twist. So we'll take our fingertips forward, both arms, and then we'll take our right hand and we'll peel it back like we're going to shoot a bow and arrow. And then we might keep going with our arms. So that's open arm twist. You can twist more, you can twist left. Try to keep your knees kissing together. So try not to let one knee come in front of the other. Try to just twist with your torso. Deep breath in. Long breath out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale back through center. And then we'll take our left arm back like we're going to shoot a bow and arrow and keep going. Again, watch those knees. Twist as much or as little as works for your body. Find the breath. Find the gaze. Inhale back to center. And we'll come to stand. Deep breath in. Long breath out. One more breath in. And we'll sit back into our child's pose. And next we're going to do a prayer twist. So this is a little more intense. This doesn't work for everyone's body. If you'd like to try it or if you feel like it will work in your body, hands come together in front of your heart. You're going to take your left elbow, bring it to the outside of the right knee. Gaze can be at the floor. And as we do this twist here, we're going to want to lengthen our spine. So we're going to stretch the crown of the head away from the tailbone. We're not going to force our body into a twist. We're going to come into an inhale. We're going to press the crown of the head away from the tailbone and let the twist come naturally, as much or as little as your body twists. And then we'll slowly unwind back to center. Hands come to heart. Right elbow comes to the outside of the left knee. Stretching the crown of the head forward, away from the tailbone, and allowing the twist to just happen as much or as little as works for your body. Focusing on the breath, allowing the body to open on its own pace. Keeping in mind if this twist is a little more intense for you, you may want to back on out of it. And then we'll slowly return back to center, chair pose. Deep breath in. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift. Exhale, hands come to the mat. High plank. Low plank or belly. Up dog or cobra. And we meet back in a downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Long breath out. Deep breath in. Long breath out. Feet come together at the back of the mat. Right toes are going to lift, bend, and open. Stretch. And this time we're going to come into a crescent warrior. So we're going to take our right foot forward like we're setting up for a warrior one. We're going to stay on our back toes. So our heels lifted instead of flat on the mat. And we hug our core in to keep ourselves nice and strong. Again, you might use your leg as a prop. We'll come on up. Now crescent warrior, you'll notice a little more balance here. So we're going to rely on our gaze, setting our gaze in one spot. I'm a little wobbly today. Again, arms can be a little bit cactus. You can keep them in front of the heart. You can keep them up. Sometimes it's even nice to take hands laced to the back of the head, press the back of the head into the hands and the hands into the back of the head. You're really going to feel this in your sort of hips and core muscles because they're working really hard. Deep breath in, long breath out. Deep breath in, long breath out, and we're going to open into a warrior two. So warrior two is a little different than warrior one. Our back foot is parallel to the back of the mat, and our right foot is kind of straight in the center. So this is an open hip posture, and then we'll take our right arm out in front of us, our left arm out in back of us. Gaze follows the right middle finger, and we'll take a few breaths here, keeping that core engaged. Settling in, cultivating a sense of balance, cultivating strength. From here, we'll go ahead and flip our right palm up to the ceiling. Take our right fingertips up. Our back fingertips can come to our left leg or tuck behind our back. I like to tuck it behind my back. Stretch back, fingertips. Keep that knee pressing forward. This is a reverse warrior. And from here, we're going to take our right forearm to our right thigh, our left fingertips to the sky. So this is an extended side angle, and you can keep left fingertips straight up, or you can bring them over your head if you'd like. Either one. We'll hold here for a few breaths. Deep breath in, long breath out. Slowly come back to that reverse warrior. Again, your arm can be wherever it feels comfortable for you. And we're going to cartwheel around. We're going to take our left hand to the mat, bend the right knee, right fingertips come up. Twist. This is a high lunge twist. This is one of my favorites. But again, if this doesn't work for your body, just go ahead and stay in that high lunge. You don't have to twist. Only twist if it feels helpful for you. Deep breath in, long breath out. Inhale. Right hand comes back to the mat and we step back. High plank, low plank or belly. up dog or cobra, and we meet back in a downward facing dog. Deep breath in, long breath out. Deep breath in, long, slow breath out. Feet come together at the back of the mat. Left foot lifts up. Bend and open. And then slowly take that left foot forward. Stay on the back toes. Rise up. Crescent warrior. Finding the balance, finding the stability, finding the strength. One more deep breath in. Open up. Warrior two. Get your feet set up. Get your hips set up. Left fingertips come forward. Right fingertips come back. Gaze is over the left fingertips. Notice your hips opening and stretching. Your legs are working. Flip the left palm and reverse. Again, some people like to take their arm down their thigh or tuck it behind your back. Whatever works for you. Keep bending that left knee as you open back. Side body stretch. Deep breath in. And we're going to slowly take our left forearm to our left thigh, opening up to the sky. And you can stay right here, or you can take the arm overhead. Depends on how open your hips are, how open your body is. You might not even want to come down this far. You might want to stay up a little higher, taking the hand to the left thigh instead of the forearm. So it's up to you. Deep breath in, long breath out, and then slowly we'll reverse our warrior using our core to protect our spine. And we'll slowly cartwheel around. Right hand is going to come on down to the mat. And then left fingertips are going to come up to the sky. Twist. Again, you can take fingertips over the head if that side body stretch feels good for you. Left hand comes down to the mat. High plank. Low plank or belly. Up dog or cobra. And downward facing dog. Deep breath in, long breath out. So we're going to add a little bit of extra core work to this next round. So you might want to modify, and that's perfectly fine. Just do what works for your body. We'll take feet together at the back of the mat. Right toes lift up, bend the knee, open the hip. Take a deep breath in. Slowly take the right knee to the left elbow under the body, and then slowly take the right knee back up to the sky. Take the right knee to the nose, and then take it back up to the sky or chest. Right knee, right elbow, and back up to the sky. And then right foot comes forward. Stay on those back toes. Rise up. Crescent warrior. Open up. Warrior two. Flip the palm. Reverse. Open up. Extended side angle. Inhale back to a reverse warrior. And cartwheel around into a high lunge twist. Hand comes down to the mat. High plank, low plank or belly, up dog or cobra, and down dog. Deep breath in, long breath out.
Deep breath in. Long, slow breath out. Feet come together at the back of the mat. Left toes lift, bend and open. Take a nice long breath in here. Slowly exhale, left knee, right elbow. Inhale, knee to sky. Left knee to nose or chest. Knee back up to sky. And left knee, left elbow. Up to the sky. Left foot comes forward. Root those feet in as you rise. Crescent warrior. Warrior two. Flip palm. Reverse. Extended side angle. Reverse again. And cartwheel around to our high lunge twist. Hand to the mat. High plank. Low plank belly. Cobra up dog. And we'll meet in our downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Long breath out. You can take a few breaths continuing in your downward facing dog if you're working strength, or you can drop knees, sit back, and come into a child's pose. Notice how your body feels. Notice your breath. Notice your mind. And maybe invite your attention gently on your body or your breath and away from your mind. Coming into our downward facing dog. We'll lift our heels, bend knees, and walk our feet forward. Press into a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up to stand. Exhale, sitting down into a chair pose. We'll start with eagle. Taking our right leg, crossing it over our left, and our right arm under our left arm. Bend both elbows and wind up. If the full expression of the posture is a little bit too intense for your body, you can just give yourself a bear hug with your arms. And we breathe. One more deep breath in, long breath out, and we unwind. Back to stand. Inhaling fingertips to the sky, sitting back into a chair pose. This time the left leg comes over and the left arm comes under. Twist. Hugging in the muscles, wrapping the muscles around the bones. Find stillness. Maybe you set your gaze in one spot, your drishti. And we breathe. Deep breath in, long breath out. Breathing in and out. And we'll unwind back to stand. Hands come to heart. Next, we'll come into a tree pose. So tree is nice and grounding and centering. And there's a few variations of tree that you can explore. So we'll start by imagining some roots growing into our left foot. We're going to lift our right foot, and maybe we take our right foot just towards our ankle and press. And this can be your tree pose, so your right leg doesn't have to come up super high. If you feel like you can do a little bit more, you might bring your foot up to your calf. And again, press the foot into the calf into the foot. And you might come up to your upper thigh, but only if it feels good for you, right for your body. And wherever you go in your tree pose, you just want to make sure you don't press your foot into the inside of your knee, because your knee doesn't want to have sideways pressure on it. So from here, we just settle in. Again, maybe we find our gaze, setting our gaze in one spot, tucking that belly button in towards the spine for stability. We'll take 3 breaths together. Inhale 1, exhale. Inhale 2, exhale. One more deep breath in, and we come down. Maybe shake out. If you're holding on to tension, let that tension release. We'll meet back with hands in front of heart, finding our stability. And now we'll imagine those roots growing down into the earth from our right foot. And we'll take our left foot, maybe to the ankle. You could even leave your toes, your left toes, on the mat, like a kickstand. That's still a tree pose. It's just a less intense variation. The interesting thing about balance is it is one of those things that gets better the more you practice. So you might find that when you first start a yoga practice, some of these balancing poses seem unattainable, but then after you're practicing for a few months or a year, all of a sudden you can do them. So it just takes that consistent practice. And you eventually learn to kind of settle your body, settle your mind, and then the balance comes. So you can rest your foot into your calf if you'd like. As long as you avoid the knee, that's all that matters. And then maybe you take it to your upper thigh. I'll tell you something about the upper thigh is, here we go, I'm going to demonstrate it. Slippery pants. So if your yoga pants are a little slippery, it can be a challenge to keep your foot in place with the inner thigh. That's why sometimes the hot yoga is nice, because it gets you all sweaty. And then not slippery. Breathing in and out. Finding that stability, finding that center. One more breath in and you release. Check it out. And we'll do one more balance pose here in our balancing series. We'll go for an airplane pose. Now, airplane starts to build some pretty good strength as well, so keep that in mind. Depending on how you're feeling, once again, there might be different levels or layers to your airplane pose. So we'll start by, once again, centering, hands in front of heart. Take the right knee up. I can tell this is going to be interesting for me today. Every day our balance can be different too, even moment to moment. So the more scattered we are, the more wobbly our balancing poses might be. And then we start to kick our leg back. And then we bring our arms to our sides, palms facing down, foot is flexed. Now, if lifting your leg up doesn't feel right for your body, just rest those toes back on the ground. It's okay. You don't have to be floating or flying. In fact, you can build a lot of strength with those toes touching the ground, because I'm really working my left leg here. I'm actually working it more right now than when I lift, because as soon as I lift, I'm starting to use my core a little bit more. So don't feel like if you don't quite have the balance yet that you're not benefiting. You absolutely are, and in some cases you might be benefiting a lot. I like to bind my hands in an airplane pose sometimes. You may not want to do that, but I like to open my heart. And crash my airplane. All right, back to center. There's a concept in yoga called beginner's mind. And so no matter how long you've been practicing, you approach it always like a beginner, because in every moment, our body's different. Our experiences are different. So we'll start by getting grounded. As you can probably tell, I'm not incredibly grounded myself today. And my body's not lying. It knows. Okay. Knee up. Find your drishti or your gaze and start to kick back. And you can keep your hands in front of your heart. In fact, this hands in front of heart for me tends to help me kind of hug into my center line, and it will help me balance on a day when I'm a little more wobbly, like today. So see, I'm pressing my hands into each other, and it's actually helping me with the balance. Setting the gaze is another one that's really helpful for me when it comes to balancing poses. And we'll come back through center. Deep breath in, long breath out. Breathe in, fingertips to the sky. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. High plank, low plank or belly. Upward facing dog or cobra. And finally, downward facing dog. Deep breath in, long breath out. If you'd like, you can drop your knees and sit back in a child's pose. So on your back, allow your feet to be about hips width distance. Knees are bent. And you might stay right here. If the next pose does not feel good in your body, we're gonna come into a bridge pose. You might just choose to stay right here. And if you choose to stay right here, you can even take a foam block, place it between your knees, and just kind of squeeze. So that's going to build some strength in your inner thigh muscles. And you can stay right here just squeezing that block. But if you would like to build a little bit more strength, or you have a more advanced practice where you feel comfortable coming into a back bend, once again, you can keep the block between your knees to help build strength. Tuck your shoulder blades under and start to lift your hips as you squeeze the block. Press the feet down and forward. Try to keep your glutes soft and really squeeze with those inner thighs, opening the heart. And depending on how your body works, you might clasp your hands together underneath your bottom. If not, just allow them to rest on the mat at your sides. And really we're focusing mostly on squeezing the knees and pressing down and forward. And take one more deep breath in, and then allow your bottom to come back to the mat. And take a cleansing breath in. Long breath out. There's another modified version of this posture, so you can do the same thing you just did for this next round. Or if you'd like to explore a little bit more of a modified bridge, the foam block You're going to take that and place it under your sacrum, which is the center of the back of your pelvis. So instead of squeezing the block, you're going to lift your bottom up, place the block, and you can then rest your sacrum on the block. And then once again, tuck the shoulder blades under, keeping the knees about hips width apart. You're still going to want to press down and forward into the mat with your feet. So this is an active pose. You're going to be feeling the stretch in your quads. You're going to be feeling some opening in that lower back. So be very aware. Any pain, any sharp pinching, or any kind of nerve like stuff that goes on, you're going to slowly come out of this and just stay on the ground, feet planted, knees up. But if this feels like it's healthful for your body, you can continue pressing down and forward with those feet. Allowing that breath to come into the belly and opening the heart to the sky as those shoulder blades continue to kiss together. And when you're ready to remove the block, if you're in the modified version of this posture, just slightly lift, remove the block, and allow the sacrum to rest once again on the floor. And then once you're done with your heart opening postures, you'll take the soles of your feet together, knees wide. Just allow the knees to fall out. This is called Supta Baddha Konasana, or reclined butterfly. You can take one hand on the chest, one hand on the belly. You can also cactus the arms, allowing the palms to face upwards. If you want to bring more energy into your body, you can have that open arm, open heart posture. If you feel like you're a little too much energy and you want to bring it down, that's when you're going to want to ground the hands towards the body or towards the ground, palms towards the ground. Slowly take the feet to the mat, knees back up, and then you'll find that side to side motion with the knees like a set of windshield washers. And then take your right knee in, stretch your left leg out on the mat. Give your right knee a nice squeeze. And you can stay right here and stretch. Or you can take a twist, bringing the right knee across the body, finding a little bit of a lower back stretch and twist. And slowly coming back through center. You'll take hold of the left knee, stretch the right leg out on the mat, and again you can stay right here. It's a really nice stretch for those inner thighs. Where you can find that twist. Lower back, stretch, arm kind of stretches opposite way of knee. Center. Take both knees in, give yourself one last big old squeeze, and open up into your final rest. Any posture that feels grounding, and restful for you. Integrate some gentle movement into the fingers and toes. Invite the head to move from side to side. Bring each knee in towards the belly one at a time. Slowly make your way to one side of your body, resting your head on your upper arm. Pause here for a moment and just be. Right here, right now. And then slowly make your way up to a seated position. Legs crossed. Invite the hands together in front of your heart. And take a moment to reflect on something that has meaning for you. And then slowly bringing our thumb knuckles up to our forehead center, we conclude our practice by sharing a word that simply means the light in me sees and honors the light in you. And that is Namaste. So together we say Namaste.
If you have any questions throughout your practice, feel free to reach out through the Flex Counseling and Wellness website.